everyone, welcome to this week's Thursday live chat. Hope you're all okay. Let me know when you pop on, pop a comment in. Yes, we're live. Happy Thursday. So when you come on live, just pop a comment in, let me know you're here. I'm just checking I am live in the group, which I am. So I didn't set up an event for this week, just because these are going to be standard every week. So if it's easier for people to have an event, I am more than happy to set that up. So if you are watching this on the replay, just let me know. For anybody else, just tell me what you want to do, whether you want an event set up. I will get started with a card for us this week. I am using Kyle Gray's deck for the cards this week. So when you pop on, just pop a comment in and let me get started. So we shall see who is joining. Oh, we've got 2 cards wanting to come out this week. So let me... Hi, Jill. Right, I've got 2 cards coming up this week. These are really fun ones, actually. So we've got Clear, Cancel, Release. So this is one which is so powerful. It is very much around making sure that when anything negative comes in or when anything pops into your head that feels out of alignment, you can do this mantra. You can say Clear, Cancel, Release, letting that go, and think of your new thought that you want to bring in. That is so powerful. This next one, Do the Work. So this card is Do the Work. Hi, Christina. This card is saying that you have it all inside of you. You have all of that good stuff inside of you, but it's time to do the work. It's time to unleash it. It's time to let it out. So with these 2 cards, we've got Clear, Cancel, Release and Do the Work. It really is powerful to start moving things forward, these 2 cards this week. So I was just saying, Christina, I didn't put an event in because sometimes I don't know whether the events work to notify people, but I'm guessing it maybe does because people maybe don't know that I'm live. So I'll remember that for next time. But it might be just me and you tonight. Who knows? So anyone who is watching the replay, just pop any comments in. Let me know what you're thinking as things go on. How are you doing, Christina, as well? Let me know. Oh, thanks for calling me beautiful. That's so nice. So I was just listening over the podcast this week to try and get my head in, because sometimes I think I get into the zone with the podcast and just literally channel some information often. And you might see sometimes when I'm like, totally on one, going off on one, I think sometimes that's when spirit just goes, right, we're dumping all of this information. But this week I had to reflect on what's been happening. So I have put myself forward to write a chapter in the Authentic book. Tell me more about Clear, Cancel, Release. How can we do that? All right, yeah. So I'll get back to the podcast in a sec. So the card this week, Christina, was Clear, Cancel, Release and Do the Work. So with this one, I really use this as a mantra for when my thoughts and things are going out of alignment. So when I'm maybe thinking things that I don't want to think, negative things creep in, or the work that we've been doing around your new identity, when we slip back into old identity things like our pity party, our victim mode, all of that, that is where this one comes in really handy, because as soon as you have that thought, you can go Clear, Cancel, Release, and then think your new one. So you just mantra that in to when you're going down that negative route, and it really helps. It's a good trigger and it stops you going down that spiral. And then this card was Do the Work. So, simple as, we've got it all inside of us. We've just got to unleash it. We've got to let it go. So I am just going to make sure, I know this is live in the group. I don't think I can kind of post it any more than that, really. So, yeah. Anyway, So the podcast this week, obviously with the chapter which Christina is involved in as well. Christina's writing a chapter. So on the 12th of November, we are going to have the book launching. So it's called The Authentic Book. It's all about people who've been courageous enough to turn their life around and how they've went about doing that. So I was asked by Tina to get involved, and it was just such an honour for somebody to ask you to do that anyway, that they see that in you, and then the journey of it. But when it come down to writing the chapter, I had to look back at how things have happened and what's actually happened and think, where does that courage come from? And the big thing for me, and I'm not going to, spoil my story, but the big thing for me is the courage was to follow my desires, to actually follow what lights me up, what gives me joy. Now, that sounds easy, right? We should all be doing that, shouldn't we? But actually, I grew up thinking my desires weren't valid. My desires were just me being spoiled or needy or whatever else, all these things. So my story, I come from a family of 4. My mum and dad provided for us really, really well. I was not hard done to at all. But obviously, they had to feed 4 kids. So there was a big ask. They had to feed us, clothe us, put us through school, all of that. Now, you think of that, me wanting the latest stuff or me desiring things is not high on my mum's priority list when she has 4 kids to think about. So for me, there was a mantra through my family, and it's probably went through my grandma's family, through my mum's, and I can hear my mum's voice saying it over and over again. And it's who wants never gets. And that was always banged about. So every time he wanted something and they obviously didn't have the money to buy it, or they didn't want to buy it, they'd just be like, well, who wants never gets? And it just become that way of saying no, rather than saying, there would be no, I can't afford that at the minute, or no, at the minute. It would be just who wants never gets. And then that then become the mantra that I really started believing. Now, this is the thing, a belief is just a saying that you say over and over again. And that's where clear, cancel, release comes in massively, because when these things come up in our head, they're really ingrained into us. So when you think about somebody telling you who wants never gets, I stopped wanting. I just totally stopped asking for what I wanted, because I just felt like there was absolutely no point. If I did want something, I would get told that, or if I did want something, it maybe wouldn't be in the way that I wanted it to come. So as a defense mechanism, I just stopped wanting completely, and that formed my whole life. So I ended up with someone in my relationship that I put all their wants and needs first. There was no time to look at mine. In my career, I put all of my boss's wants and needs before mine. And it was just a continual theme, because I'd never let myself desire. I'd never let myself really think about what I want. Now, when we're going through Unleash at the minute, we're seeing this in so many, and I've seen it in each program I've done. So many women do not let themselves want. They don't let themselves have them desires. And sometimes when you think about things you want, you think, well, my family comes first. They've got to, my wants aren't as big as theirs. So, Christina, does this come up for you? Like, where are you on the want and desire scale? Let me know. Because it is a massive thing. And you think about society and how we're set up, and literally it's not built for women who want everything. We get put in that carer role, we get put in that mother role, and it's like you're meant to be supporting everyone else. You're meant to be supporting, your husband go out and get all his wants, or you'll put him first and you'll say, oh, you go out, I'll do all this, you go out, enjoy yourself. And that is constant. As women, we do this all of the time. And then when it comes to thinking, well, what do I actually want? We don't know. We're so ingrained to think, I don't know, what does my husband want? What does my family want? What does the kids want? And we just never go, what do we want? When I was little, Christina's saying, when I was little, there was a saying similar to yours, but I can't remember the North American version. It made me think I couldn't want things. Yeah. And we'll all have our own way of saying it. We'll all have our own things that come up. And when you look back, it's perfectly natural. Your mum, dad, whoever probably just didn't have the finances to get everything you wanted. And, you know, in rather saying no all the time, they just made up a saying, or the saying was said to them, and there was no malice in it, no harshness. But it is a society thing that we do end up not really knowing what we actually want. And that was my journey, really, starting to think about, well, what do I want for a start, and what makes me happy? So what is happiness? What does that even feel like? Because I don't think I'd ever let myself feel happy. There was just this level, and it was like, oh, I don't need to get there, because if I get there, it won't last. So there was all of that going through. And then there's that feeling of, you know, you can't want, because your wants aren't valid. Your wants, you don't deserve them. And there's that feeling of not enoughness. I am in the stage now of actually asking myself, what do I want? Being open to the answers, because I am not sure. Yeah, totally get that, Christina. And even now, sometimes I'm like that. I have to think, you know, hard, what is it I want? And Mike can ask me the most simplest questions. What do you want for tea? And sometimes go, I'm not sure, what do you want? And it's like, we can't even come to like say, I really want this. And I'm being conscious of this now. So I really think about, what is it I do want? So for the book launch, I've decided we're going to go out, we're going to celebrate, we're going to go for tea somewhere nice. I'm getting my hair done. And I even went to him, where do you want to go? And I give him 2 options. And then I looked at the menus and I thought, actually, I don't want to go to that option. So I've said, no, we're going to the other one. And I just thought, do you know what? Before, I would have just completely been like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? All of this stuff. But I am just so conscious now of that is a thing that I do. And I want to do things that feel good to me. So I am very conscious now, and I start to say exactly what I want if I do want something. Hi Holly. So it is about thinking, how much do you either not want things because you're scared of getting them, or stop yourself from wanting things because you think you don't deserve them, or just you're constantly thinking, what do other people want first? And that is a massive sign that, one, you might have been, you know, hurt by this in the past, or you're scared, or you feel there's a gap and you just don't deserve. All that, you know, it is just habit. It's a real bad habit that we've got into, because often mine's just habit to go, oh, I don't know, what do you want? Christina does that all the time. Yeah, and sometimes we blame it on being indecisive, but actually it comes down to a big thing of, sometimes we just don't know what we want, and it scares us, because if we say it out loud, we feel demanding, we feel like we're being selfish. You know, what is it that comes up for you? If you had to say, I want this thing, what comes up? Do you feel bad? Do you feel guilty? Even if you're watching the replay, make sure you're putting in all these things that are coming up for you, because these are the things that we need to clear. So with this card, anytime we get that feeling of guilt, like giving the choice to someone else, all of that stuff, we need to clear, cancel, release. We need to stop it, and we need to go, what do I want? What do I want right now? And do the work. This takes practice. This actually takes digging into this subject and seeing, why don't I let myself want? Why don't I let myself desire? And there was a big shift. So as we're going through Unleash is the process that I do. Unleash is what I do all of the time. So I am going through the cycle with the girls who are on that. I am literally going through all the journaling, going through all the stuff, because it is something I do. And because I do it ad hoc. I do a bit here, a bit there, and a bit, I jump in and out. So I was really conscious, I want to do the full process with them and feel it exactly as they're feeling it. So I am going through it myself. So in Unleash, I'm unleashing extra things. And this was a big thing for me. So a big thing around my wants and desires was I deserve. Now, initially when I started saying that, because it was coming up in my journaling, I was like, I deserve because of this, or I deserve because of that. And there was always a condition. There was always something I was adding on. And part of this releasing that I was doing through Unleash was just to say, I deserve, full stop. No, because I do this. No, if I lose weight, if I gain something else, none of that. Nothing added, nothing gained, just I deserve. Now, can you say that, and does it sit with you? Can you just say, I deserve, just for being you, nothing else, just because you are born, like that is the whole reason. But do you feel comfortable saying, I deserve? Because that was a big thing for me, and that come up through Unleash when I was doing all the reflecting. And it's been born out of this desires and this wants, because I didn't feel like I deserved for so long, because I'd crushed that part of me down. I just stopped it coming out. Christine said, we blame it on being flexible, but really it's just all those, yeah, we say we're trying to be like accommodating and we're trying to like be nice to people, and actually we just don't know what we want half the time, and it's because we've never let ourselves desire. So it is really, really key. But it is thinking about how you can bring more of this in. So doing the work, like the other card, we've got to do the work. We've got to do this practice. Now, I've started using that affirmation that I deserve, just saying it regular, because that is so, so powerful. If you say that to yourself now, I deserve, feel inside your body, where does that sit? Does it feel comfortable, or do you instantly go, oh, I don't like that? Let me know. Because at first I was saying it and I was like, oh no, that feels weird. I was getting like a tightness here in my chest, and I just thought, oh, this isn't nice. But I did some tapping and I moved through it and I shifted that energy. And now I'm like, yeah, of course I do. Like, that we are all so amazing. Like, why do we even question it? Why do we have to do something in order to get something? It is just crazy. So Christina, when you say that, if you say, I just deserve, how does that feel? I'd love to know. Pop it in, let me know. And anybody watching the replay, please let me know how it makes you feel when you say, I deserve, or I want. And imagine, what is the thing you want now? And if you don't know that, start to think about it. Start to really put some work into this, because this is the big thing. We always say we want to be happy, but what even is that to you? And that's the biggest thing. And it's not about saying that you're stuck, or you don't know that next thing, or you don't know the how, but what is it that's going to make you happy? Not comfortable. So Christina, that's one that we need to tap through in Unleash for sure. But yeah, start to say that, start to keep that in your affirmations. Just I deserve, and try and do it so that you start to get comfortable with that, because that is so powerful. Why do we not deserve? Why do we think we don't? I bet the men around us think that they deserve. I bet they do. So it's just such a weird thing that we just don't let ourselves do. So obviously I don't talk about this wants and things in the book, but my story is all about finally figuring out that there was something more for me and that I needed to follow this niggle, and I'm not going to give it all away, but I needed to follow that. And that was my courageous bit. And this is maybe the message for you guys, that we need to start to follow our joy. We need to start to follow what lights us up. Anything that doesn't, we need to clear, cancel, release, and let that go. And we need to start to see, what is it that makes us happy? What is it we want? And we are allowed to want. It doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't make you greedy. It doesn't make you anything less than. It just is something that you deserve. So please have a think this week about how this is affecting you, and listen to the podcast, because I go through all of this in real detail. So I'll pop the link into the podcast. But as well, I know a load of you were saying that you wanted to join Unleashed, but perhaps it wasn't the right time, or you maybe didn't want to join a coaching group program and things like that. And, you know, I've got you sorted. So what is coming out soon is the manifesting course version. So there is going to be a self-study manifesting course. So in that you won't get the time with me like Unleashed does, but you will still learn how to manifest, and you'll learn how to put all of this into practice. So that is going to be coming out very, very soon at the same time as the book launch. So when the book's launched, it's going to be released on ebook for 99 cents in America, I think about £1.50 in the UK, but something around that. So on the day, I am going to need all of your help to help us get to Amazon bestseller and make the most amount of money we can for LMU girls. So please, 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 I'll be posting links and I will be sharing all about it, but we need your support to really get that going. Christina's posted the link in for the podcast, so that's available. And anybody got any questions, or if this has brought anything up for you, or anything you want to clear, obviously I do one-to-ones as well. So go to rachelchamley.com. There is one-to-ones on there that you can book with me. If you really want to start to shift some of this stuff on a one-on-one basis, come and just book a session and we'll talk through it. We'll see what's coming up. We'll see what your guides, what your angels are saying, and we'll get things shifting. But yeah, any help at all, please let me know. And thank you to everyone who has been posting in the group. And next week for the Thursday Live, I promise I will do an event so that you all can see it, because I just forgot this week and I just thought, oh, it's okay because everybody knows it's every week. But obviously you need that notification, so that is fine. I will put that in. But any questions before I go? Anything you want to add, Christina, or anything that's like resonated for you, please just let me know. And anybody watching the replay, pop your questions in the comments and I will get back to you. So, Christina, anything at all just before we head off? And what I'll do, seeing as though you are on, I will do you a special card. Oh, forgiveness and understanding. So this one. So this one's for you a little bit around giving yourself forgiveness. So you've got all this armor on, you've got all this, you know, all these not walls, but like you've armored yourself really well. And now's the time that you kind of wishing that you didn't do that, and maybe like being a bit like, oh, why have I done this, and why have I built this wall up, and why have I done that? And it's just to kind of give yourself that understanding that that's what you needed then, and that was exactly what you had to do, and that's okay. And now's the time, just the light will start to come through all of that. So please don't feel like anything's been wasted or anything's been lost, because without all of that, you probably wouldn't have been able to spread your wings like you're gonna. So please just remember that everything had its place, everything was needed, everything was exactly how it should be, and now this part of your journey is you just finding that connection with your own heart and then shining that to everybody else. So don't feel like it's anything you've done wrong, or building up these walls or anything like that is a bad thing, because it isn't. It's just exactly what you needed then. And now what you need is to start to let them go a bit and shine the light out. So it's that unleashed thing that we were talking about the other night. So I hope that helps, and I hope that makes sense. But there's a real fire in this card as well. If you look at these wings, there's a real passion coming out, and it's time to let that flow. So yeah, I don't know whether you can see that, but it's such a nice card. But yeah, everything had its place, so it's exactly the right time for everything, and all of that was meant to happen. So it just means that without all of that, you probably wouldn't have been at the space where, you know, you'd have done certain things. So it is important that all of that did happen as well. So just remember that and just let it go as it was one of them things. I am where I am, and now I move forward in a different path, and that's okay. So I hope that helps, and I will catch you all next week. But we're going to have the weekly cards on Monday, and then we'll have the podcast next Wednesday and another live on Thursday. But if you need anything from me, please pop in the comments. And like I said, if anybody wants to go deeper and really uncover what he's getting in their way, book a one-to-one, just go to rachelchamley.com or rachelchamley.co.uk, and you can look at the sessions that are on there. All right, I will catch you all soon. Thank you for watching, Christina, and I will see you next week. Bye.